In to TWMP. This week at Missouri Politics Daily. Jake Croson, thank you so much. Don't adjust your computer screens. That is not Aaron. That is Jake this morning. Thank you so much for making the time.
Oh, so happy to be here, Scott.
And we are joined by Joe Steelman of the great Steelman family, running for state senate in the 16th district to replace Senator Justin Brown. It's a district your family knows a little bit about, huh?
Yeah, we've been there for a long time. I'm a sixth-generation Missourian in that district. My great-great-great-granddad moved there after the Civil War, and we've been there ever since. I ain't going
Now, where'd
anywhere.
they move from? That's interesting.
So he's from Indiana, actually.
Okay.
He joined the Indiana Regiment when he was 15. Aaron Day Steelman went and fought in Chickamauga and the Sherman March to the Sea, and came back and settled in Cedar Grove, Missouri.
All right, now, Cedar Grove, Missouri, where's that at from
That's
Rolla?
actually Shannon County.
Shannon.
Yeah.
Well, Phelps County was one of those counties that were designed, you know, right before the Civil War. In that time, every county had a House member, which really they should go back to, honestly. Just give every county one House member. Think how great the legislature would be if every county just got one.
How many counties is
All
there?
you,
Like 108?
all you freaks, Jake, there's 114 counties in the city of St. Louis. You could even give the city one. All you freaks in Jackson County would have one person to come in here and cause trouble. Shannon County.
Hey, I like this. I like that proposal.
Danny Staples. I mean, you got a lot of great folks. Just imagine if it went back to the good old days, the way it should be, how much better that legislature would be. None of you suburban people get to cry. It'd be so great. But you cry, somebody backhand you and you just walk on. It would no be none of this snowflake, suburban, cul-de-sac, Starbucks drinking, pussy hat wearing, whiny, crying about everything. Man, that'd be a great way to do it. So back then, they created a bunch of counties because they knew the vote was coming on secession and slavery. So Worth County, Holt County was cut out of that. All these counties. That's why Phelps County is that weird thing. It's kind of just St. James, Rolla, and then the dog leg to make it credible.
Yeah.
Right. But so if you, I always say that when you say we're going to town, what town are you going to?
You're going to Rolla.
Yeah. And that's the truth for a huge trading area. You could draw a long line around Rolla, and they say if you're going to town to eat or going to buy groceries, you're going to Rolla.
Yeah, but don't discount St. James. Lots of great restaurants in St. James.
I love, what is the name of the bar with the stag big marquee out front? It used to have the biggest ball of twine in the world, or at least that's what they told me one night. I might have been drunk. But it's a terrific bar. Heath Clarkson, if he's watching, he'll text in and tell me exactly where. In St. James, right when you go down the main drag.
I know what you're talking about.
Only town with two, per capita, it has the most flag stores of any town in Missouri. The Cardetti family had a little split, and now there's a flag store on one side of the street, flag store on the other side of the street. I personally go to Jack's branch of the family's flag
That's
store.
where we got our American flag.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their own they like. I might have even got these flags here. Took this from St. James. The German Missouri thing up there.
You need to get that Missouri flag a little bit higher there.
Well, I didn't make it. I mean, you have to talk to the Cardetti family about that. Okay. I'm not sure. I mean, I bought it from folks, if you have a problem with my flag thing, go to Jack Cardetti. I'd give his cell phone out if I remembered it. We usually have McKenna's cell phone out on here, normally on these.
We should have a bar at the bottom where it's just constantly called Ryan
Complaints,
McKenna.
call Ryan McKenna. Yeah, let's do that. Folks, if you have a problem with anything on the podcast, I'd like you to call our official complaint line. And that complaint line is 314. I see it's a St. Louis number. They like to complain in St. Louis. 799-2329. That is 314. Of course it would be 314. 799-2329. For all complaints about the show, please send them to our complaint department. You can entitle it Complaint Department or Dear Asshole, however you want to go about it. So, campaign, how's it going?
Campaign's going well. You know, there's a lot of people in need out in Missouri, in outstate Missouri. A lot of families, they're having a tough time affording, everyday life. It's hard to participate in this economy with costs skyrocketing, with housing costs going up, utilities going up. Parking tickets. Healthcare is the big one. I mean, there's a huge fight, and that's a big federal issue, but it's impacting us every day. And we need more Missouri families, right? I think our policy should be focused on what is the good thing to do for Missouri families, family of four. How do we make them thrive? And so that's what my campaign's about.
How do you do it?
Well, we got to get costs down. I mean, we got the income tax proposal on the table, and I think there's some skepticism about how it actually gets executed, what the tax base actually looks like from a services perspective, and I think that needs to be explained. There's a lack of trust right now in the government institutions.
Since 6 generations ago, when your great-great-great-great-granddaddy settled in Cedar Grove,
Yeah.
I assume he didn't trust the government then, and I sure as hell don't trust the government
No,
today.
I
don't
agree.
give a damn what party you're from, unless you're getting rid of the designated hitter, then I would trust you. But I don't trust any government at all. Period. Never. No one in the government.
And that's the American way. I mean,
Yeah.
but the proposal on the table needs some explanation. People need to understand what the tax swap is actually going to look like.
It comes down to, in my opinion, you're going to pay taxes. You're going to have some schools. You're going to have some roads. That's just the way it goes. How are you going to pay for that? And everybody throws up Florida and Texas, and I'm like, okay, we have brands, but we don't have the tourism Florida does, and we don't have the oil that Texas does. So those aren't, honestly, I think those are talking points more than real discussion. Now you go to Tennessee, a little more tourism than we do, but not. It's not marginal enough to make decisions about the entire state's economy. Tennessee, you don't pay an income tax, but you pay a hell of a sales tax and you pay a hell of a property tax. I mean, there is needs. You do need, the Raleigh Bulldogs do need a school, right?
Yep.
And you need a damn road to get there.
Yeah.
Now, after that, the government, you could stop a lot of the other stuff, but I mean, those are things you need, right?
Well, I can tell you, you don't want to be going to Jeff City, in my opinion, to get money to fund the school. I'm a big fan of local autonomy, and
Is that real though? Since they wrote this foundation formula back, we were going 40 years ago, essentially we take a big chunk of money out of St. Louis and fund rural education.
Well, so do property taxes.
Yeah, but I mean, they're paying taxes and we're taking let's be honest, we're taking the fine folks in Frontenac, shout out to Frontenac's money, and we're spending it, in St. Francis County on Farmington School.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's been the case for a long time, and I don't know why we would change that. If we're taking them city slickers' money, why don't we keep taking it?
No, I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying if you don't want to rely solely on Jeff City to fund, you need a new gymnasium. We just got a new gymnasium in Raleigh, great basketball team. We did that locally.
I hear they got a pretty good voice of the Raleigh Bulldog.
They do have a good voice.
Who would that be? I can't remember.
Well, that's me and Tanner
okay, yeah.
Dinsdale.
That's what I was thinking. I was trying to
Shout
remember
out to
who it
Tanner.
was. I get you. So you tell me, what is the best way to fund government? Nixon, Jay Nixon, the Babe Ruth, Missouri politics, right? Your family knows a little bit about his electoral prowess.
Sure, yeah.
I thought he had a good plan. You take a little bit of everything.
Yeah, diversified revenue streams.
If you was investing your money, or if you was wondering how it's coming in, you like a little bit of everything. I always thought Nixon was a little property, little income, little sales. You try to keep as low as you can, and that's the move. Now, Mike Kehoe comes in and says, we're going to get rid of income tax. I don't hear the clamor for that as much. I hear a lot of clamor about property taxes, but I go back to, there ain't one property tax you pay to the Raleigh School District that you didn't vote for.
That's true.
You wait till you get to the Senate next year. Oh my God, all these city people, they vote for all these tax increases. They come down here and want you to fix it for them. Stop voting for the tax increases, and you ain't got to drive 2 hours down here to have folks here fix your problems.
Well,
Fix your problem in St. Louis.
That's mostly true. When you get into an inflationary environment, your taxes do go up without voting on unrealized gains of your house.
Is that what you need to fix? To me, I think you need to reduce how fast assessors can jack your. There's two types of assessors. One type of assessor, it works for the school district, and he don't give a damn. He's there to raise your tax and screw you to the wall to get money for that school. And you have another type of assessor that's for the taxpayer, who will try to be fair. You had an assessor down there. My God, he was having drones. You remember that? It was about 10 years ago. Nixon appointed a fill-in, and he had drones out there, and the folks started shooting at him, which as they should, right?
That'll happen in Phelps County.
Damn right.
That'll happen in Dent County. That'll happen everywhere in the 16th district.
You put a drone above this building, I think Jake should take a shot at it. Hell yes.
That's fair.
Don't you think, too, meter maids, not with bullets, but with paintball, you should be able to paintball meter maids. If they're going to harass you, you should be able to shoot back, right? That's the American way.
I think that's an interesting proposal.
Your predecessor, Justin Brown, actually has an innovative way. He came up with this wonderful plan. He studied it, think tanks, and it was years of study and work, and they had international conglomerations come together and study this parking plan. It was the Leave People the Hell Alone plan. It was brilliant, it was genius, it was perfect. Literally, when you pulled into Jeff City, it was the perfect parking plan. The mayor himself told me that no one had complained about the perfect parking. I was so flabbergasted because he did it. It was perfect, and it really Justin Brown's a lot of credit for that. Now it's a sad day. It's just, you talk about liberal. My God, cost of living. If you even stop at a stoplight in downtown Jeff City, ticket right away. They told me it's not about the money. They assured me it's not about. Now I'd be offended, Joe, if you think it's about the money, because it's not about the money. Right, Jake?
I mean, it's gotten so bad to the point they started passing out flyers to each of the offices in the Capitol. I saw one of these yesterday in Trent's office. They have flyers in the Capitol now on what the parking situation is in Jeff City, like warning people, like don't park. Like it's literally basically telling you, don't park on these streets because you're going to get ticketed with $50. It's horrible.
Am I getting a ticket right now?
I'm sure you are.
Great.
If you pay somebody to drive around the block, that's the only way you don't get a ticket here. If you slow down at a stop sign, ticket. You're going to get a ticket for not stopping at a stop sign, or if you actually come to a complete stop in Jeff City, you get a ticket, period.
Well, that's why I try to avoid Jeff City.
You wish you could go to someplace more conservative and freedom-loving, like, say, Colombia or Beijing. But it's not about the money. They increased the fees 500%, but it's not. Trust me. I've been personally informed. It's not about the money. Is the Kelton Cam back up?
Oh, not yet.
Do we not have enough money for the Kelton Cam because we're paying parking tickets?
Too many parking tickets.
See, that's
Kelton, I want folks to try to imagine what you look like if they can remember from all those weeks ago back when the Kelton Cam worked.
Think of Ryan Gosling. That's what Kelton looks like over there.
Yeah, like a young Ryan Gosling, something like that. Like, Robert Redford in his prime, if he had a beard. I am the only one on this stage without a beard. I feel so effeminate right now. You don't even know. Kelton, as you know, is hairy from the head to toe.
Even effeminate haircut, Lincoln Huff has a beard and you don't.
Yeah, but I don't think his beard counts because of the effeminate haircut. You know what I mean? I think when you get a effeminate enough haircut, the beard doesn't save you.
No, that's true. But it's winter. You got to stay warm.
It's not that I don't want to wear a beard and be cool like everyone else. It's that I physically can't.
Wow.
Like whatever, I'm low T. I don't know what it is. But if I tried to grow a beard, it would be like an Amish woman's leg hair. It just comes in real fine and awful.
Maybe
Kelton,
you can grow a real
I'd
good
be
mustache.
so offended if you thought it was about the money. I need you to tell folks at home. It's you believe them when they say it's not about the money, right?
They told me it's all about justice.
Yeah, so it's not
the
Jake,
money.
I would really appreciate it. You believe them when they say it's not about the money. Now, I've been reliable. I would be so offended if you think it's about the money after I was totally told it's not about the money. It's not about the money, Jake.
Now, if I was stopped in the hallway by the mayor himself and he told me that, I'd believe it because I believe Ron Fitzwater and he's a good guy.
People are so upset right now, and I understand, and you should be because this is the drizzling shits of a parking plan. But you have to remember, he's the one that come up with the perfect parking plan. Ron did. So I think Ron deserves a little bit of grace. But I'm going to tell you, Jake, I don't know if you've heard. This company, they brought these foreigners in. Trump's kicking them out, and now Jeff City's bringing them in. These folks, I have heard some grisly stories about the CEO of this company they hired. Trust me, you would not want this person roaming your streets looking to vandalize vehicles. I mean, the CEO of this company, I have heard some really rough things about. Look, I'm not one to peddle gossip, but I'm just telling you.
Well, you guys keep them here. We'll keep the 16th district.
Okay, but let me
free and clear.
Now hold on. Let me ask you that question I asked Justin Brown. Let's say you have a good old boy from Waynesville, Missouri, who has a problem with his state government. He needs to come get your attention. So he calls up, makes an appointment, says, I'd like to come.
Yeah.
He drives all the way up. He slows down, right? He parks to come to your office. Immediately 7 tickets before he can even get in the Capitol. Now, I think that's a problem for the state. And since I've been reliably informed, it's not about the money. I don't know if you've heard this, but it is not about the money. Regardless of what Jake thinks, because he's a skeptical Dutchman, it is not about the money. So if you did put a $2 cap on every parking ticket, let's say 1,463 feet from the Thomas Jefferson statue in a circle, they would write the same number of tickets because it's not about the money, right?
Yes.
It's not about the money. Mia, I need you to
informed.
know, Mia is going to be new to the show. The parking is not about the money. I've been reliably informed. You believe that, right? Good. See, Mia's a good person, Jake. She's a trusting person. She believes. what she's told.
It doesn't take much to be a better person than me.
That is a low bar, and me
But it also,
jumped over it.
It doesn't just hurt the constituents that want to come up here and talk to people like Dean Van Scoyk,
Yes.
and it also hurts local business. Like if I want to go to Grand and I park in front of Grand to go get lunch. Let's say that lunch extends to the 3 Martini lunch where I'm there for a little bit.
You won't even be able to see your windshield for all the parking tickets.
No, it'll be covered in parking
I'll tell
tickets.
you what, though, it will be nice though, because if you stop at a stop sign, you only get 2 tickets. But if you eat lunch somewhere, you're going to get 8 to 10 tickets, and then by God, if you happen to have a drink afterwards, it will make your vehicle cooler to get back into because it'll be completely papered over with parking tickets. So that is one advantage.
Yeah, but that only works in the summer.
Yeah, that's true. See, Joe, you're right.
I know.
I mean, God forbid I go and get coffee at Giannis, and then
4
I
tickets.
come out and I
4
pay
tickets.
a ticket that's worth 10 coffees.
Yep, 4 tickets.
Well, it sounds like we got to do something about that.
Boom.
Yeah.
See, welcome to the revolution.
No, we got to get
He's
people.
joined the parking
People
caucus.
got to participate in their government.
Boom.
That's what.
This is the kind of government
what we
we
do.
need. The leave me the hell alone government. It's perfect. All right, so how's the campaign? How's fundraising going?
Fundraising's going. It's we talked about it a little
Walk
bit earlier.
me through. Some of this stuff is hard. You're running against what, 2, 3 people that you're in office or have been in office.
There's 3 other people in the race. Yes, correct.
You're one that's never been in office yourself, right?
Correct.
You gotta go find other donors sometimes, don't you?
Well, there's always 2 sides to every issue, really.
Yeah.
And you got to find other donors. People, what I've found is, and I'm learning how to do this. People want to help, right? Ideologically, people want a stay the hell out of my business government, and so that's what I'm
Speaking
for.
my language.
So there's a lot of people who want to participate in a lot of help and to help, and you just got to go find them. You got to get boots on the ground. You got to make a lot of phone calls.
Kelton has come up with an ingenious plan. Kelton, could you put that on the screen, please?
Yeah, give me just a second.
So this is why Kelton makes waves, because he come up
It's
with
on the screen.
So he put a thing up there. If you have a complaint about the show, the complaint line.
Yeah.
So you now look right in the bottom, folks. You'll be able to tell if you have a complaint about the show. I wish you'd take some time and reach out to our complaint department in St. Louis, or possibly over at the AFL-CIO office right now.
They will be promptly addressed, I'm sure.
Yes. Oh, he'll get right on them. He's Irish, so it's going to take him 6 weeks to get on it.
It's not like he's doing anything.
I mean, he's a union contractor, so he's not, it's going to take him a second. He's got OC codes to worry about. And
Hey, but when he gets to work, it gets done.
Well, yeah, we'll go with that. That's a very optimistic view. I like that. All right, so when you meet folks out, what are they talking about?
Well, there's about growth in the economy. I mean, people have seen a stagnating economy in Missouri for a number of years now, and we need to figure out how to actually get growth so we can keep our grandkids close to home.
Joe, you will be one of the big brains in the party, which almost like being a better person than Jake is not that hard of a race to win sometimes. But I love asking Curtis Trent, one of the smartest people I actually know, this question. I sat and watched in 14, 15, 18, I mean, several times. The Republican Party, who's had the majority for 25 years, who's had the supermajority for, 15? Supermajority and the governor now for 10. And when they passed the tax cuts to take us from 6 to 4, they said, this will grow jobs. This will help the economy. People will move here because of this. We will see a growth in population. We'll have more better jobs. Pay will go up. All these things were promised by members of the Republican Party, elected officials on the floor of the legislative bodies. My whole life, tax cuts, yes, that's what we do here. We love tax cuts. They're wonderful. That's the whole, I'm not part of the let me tell you how to live your life wing of the Republican Party. I'm truly part of the leave me the hell alone part.
Yeah.
In every facet. You want to do whatever you want to do in private life, man, just don't tax me and don't harass me with parking tickets now. But the truth is, I think the numbers show it hasn't worked. Does that worry you that going from 6 to 4 and all the promises that were made, literally none of them have come true? Not one promise has come true as far as the state's overall economic health. Does it scare you to go to zero? Because there are negative effects from going to zero. There will be services that aren't done.
Sure, yeah.
Now you can decide whether you care about that or not, but there is a cost. It's not a zero cost. Does it worry you when you say going from 6 to 4 has literally done nothing? going from 4 to 0, it's almost like you're could I sell you a used truck on that logic?
Well, Scott, here's a proposal for you.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with the first $100,000 of income or $50,000 of income? Try and take it to 0 there, so we don't have such a big gap to fill in the general revenue fund. And that,
That makes some sense.
If you were to exempt the first $100,000 in income, you'd probably have a $4 to $5 billion gap that you have to fill. That's a lot easier to fill than $9 billion. You could have a smaller tax base. We could, I don't think we want to tax healthcare costs anymore. Healthcare is already unaffordable for people. If we tax construction costs, housing prices go up. So we have to do this pragmatically, and we should start at a place that the working family benefits from. Let's eliminate the taxes from the bottom up. What do you think about that?
To Governor Keogh's credit, he
I
did
do
say
have
he didn't want to add additional sales
bit of
tax
breaking
to stuff.
news. I do think the state of the judiciary may be postponed. There was some senators did not like the court's ruling on striking down the IP language. So I think the state of the judiciary may be postponed. It was supposed to happen around, probably actually the speech might have started about 20 minutes from now. I think they may push that back a little bit. So a little breaking news here. Kelton, you were too young. Can you Google the ABC News? They go dun 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 breaking news. We need that. Can you find that?
I'll get a soundbite.
Yeah,
We're adding a lot of things. We're adding a helpline. We're adding breaking news.
We got this new
alerts.
studio.
You guys are
What the hell?
innovating just right here in real time.
Yeah,
This
we
is
got this
beautiful.
new studio. And also now, everyone that's asked me, can we put a sign up? My answer is yes. And I'd like to see
Got a
Brad
lot of
Pollitt.
space.
We got Billy Eigels up there. My man Libla. Anybody that's asked me, this is still one of my favorites. That he's cutting that shamrock. You're gonna love David Donley, great guy. Speaking of that, we've done breaking news. I mean, look, folks, if you want to know what the news is in real time, you come here to the TWMP Daily. If you want to know what the news is like yesterday, you go other places. Right here at the TWMP Daily, we give you the news breaking in real time. Just like our friends, the Mocan Trade Association. Joe, you were about as Missouri as anybody I know. 6 generations, family served the state. Not even you are as Missouri as the products at the Mocan Trade Association and their members. It's planted, it's fertilized, it's seeded, it's harvested, it's packaged, it's tested, it's sold. Every damn thing about it is Missouri. There ain't nothing more Missouri, except maybe the good folks at United Fiber, the best rural broadband in all Missouri. Kelton, are we going to the Great Northwest Days next week?
I believe so.
Are you going to ask Jake to call them?
I can call them.
Okay. And look, Joe, you can probably get home to Rolla most days, right?
Yeah.
But if you did, let's say you have your family come up for inauguration, what's the hotel you're going to put them in?
I think it's going to be the Courtyard Marriott. Now, I will tell you, I was actually born in that building.
Oh yeah, that does have and don't you like how when Randolph built that building, he saved one of the walls of that old, it looked like a castle.
Yeah, St. Mary's.
Yeah, St. Mary's looked like a castle. It's where the Courtyard is now. And I guess
Kelton was
the
born there too.
I was born there,
Kelton, we
yes.
got a lot of things in common.
Kelton, how thick was your beard when you were born?
I actually came out almost clean shaven.
He was born with a 5 o'clock shadow. I said that out of pure jealousy. All right, so there is something I did. I was glad you had time to come on today, because I think there's some folks that know. Obviously, you're very proud of the fact your mother was the former holder of this Senate seat, and the former state treasurer, and just one of the leading Missourians we have. Your dad is a legend in this state, and former minority leader, ran for attorney general, at the center of almost every cool thing that's happened to Missouri that I can think of. Somewhere is David Steelman. I think he is a legend, and I don't bullshit people. One of the people closest to me in this world. He's had a bit of a health issue.
Yes, Scott, there's been some obstacles that have come up in the Steelman household.
How's he doing?
He's doing all right. He's up in St. Louis right now. He's going under chemo and radiation. He's been doing that for 3 weeks. And lots of people are praying for him. I mean, it's just been an amazing experience, kind of understanding the love, even from his adversaries. And he's got plenty of adversaries, but
Show me a man with no enemies, I'll show you a man with no accomplishments.
Exactly. And everyone is just pouring the love on and praying and sending their best wishes, and it's been an amazing experience. When you get kind of down to it. It's been tough, but the human side of it, there's been a bit of a blessing there too, you know. And my brothers and I have been, and my sister have been trying to gather around him and support him in whatever way possible and solve this issue. And we're going to continue to try.
I'd hate to be an illness screw with David Steelman.
No, that's exactly right.
So there's a lot of folks that want to express support. I think, you know, I think some folks feel awkward calling or texting. Your social media, you're pretty active on Facebook, right?
Yep.
Would it be, I think most folks, nobody wants to do something that isn't welcomed or you wouldn't want. Would it be all right if folks reached out to you?
Yeah,
to just express,
I would encourage it. I would love it.
Is that something you're okay to pour it on?
Yes,
or whatever?
find me on social media. If you've got my cell phone number, you can reach out to me. I want to make sure that my dad understands how much he's loved, which is just, it's been tremendous. If you got stories that you want to tell me that I can share with him, I would love that, and he would too.
Yeah. There's a man that's got stories, my God.
Yes.
Well, please pass along that we're thinking about him and love him and pulling for him. And there's got to be part of that. There's no way you could be dealing with something like that and it don't weigh on you. Is campaigning kind of a nice break sometimes from, you know, you get to, you know, it's got to be nice. I'm sure I don't know how, I doubt word is out as much as it is after you said what you said. But there was word out.
Yeah.
How do you compartmentalize all that as you go through this campaign?
Well, he was diagnosed in early December, and you know that's a time where no one really wants to be hearing from politicians anyway. Yeah. So I was able to kind of think about what the future holds and what's important. And when you get hit in the face with something like that, like what's important really bubbles to the top pretty quickly. I'd say no, yeah, since the new year has begun, I've been reinvigorated in terms of getting out and trying to fight for Missouri families. That is a nice, I want to call it a break. It's just another way to kind of have an outlet to talk about, because my family is not the only family in Missouri going through something like this. There's plenty of people, and I go out and you hear people's stories, and there's a lot of solidarity in that, you know, and that's all what we really want is for the government to stay out of our business, to be able to raise a family, send your kids to school, put Christmas presents underneath the Christmas tree, spend time with your grandparents, spend time with your grandchildren when you get older. So there's a real human sense of like it's sharpened my reason for running. And like I said,
is getting out there, meeting with folks, kind of invigorating a little bit on some level.
Well, it is, and like I said, there's other people hurting. There's other people in the same situation with challenges with their family, with their grandparents, with their parents, and you realize you're not alone. And that's none of us are alone out here. No man is an island.
Well, if your dad was an island, he'd be fucking Greenland. You know, maybe Australia, but. So on the campaign, tell me about running there. You go all the way from essentially St. James over to Laclede County in Lebanon.
Well, it goes down to Wright County.
County.
Yeah, you got
Battle of Hartville, good folks.
Hartville, and you got Mountain Grove, and it's a big geographic area, but there's a lot of commonalities. I mean, I just think that the people there, the South Central Missouri, that's the salt of the earth, and you know, I've been around them my whole life, and most of my best friends are from the area, and they're worth fighting for. I mean, it's that simple.
Speaking of yours in the area, look at this.
I know.
I got, this is, I guess we can't zoom quite yet on this. This is a matchbook from back in the day, and your grandfather, Dorman Steelman, I bought for your dad for Christmas one year. I got, you know, there's a Dorman Steelman Lodge at a state park in your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I got the sign recreated for him and gave it to him one year for Christmas. People don't really know the full story. When they see Dorman Steelman circuit judge, Dorman Steelman was more than the circuit judge. Dorman Steelman was sort of the leader. You had the Danforth, St. Louis uppity liberal Republicans, right? And then you had you had Powell and your grandfather, a few folks that were the conservatives, and it really came to a head when Reagan ran against Ford, right? And
Yeah.
there were several fights, but your Danforth kind of silver spoon, big time St. Louis folks, they're better than you, Jake, and they'll tell you, just ask them. And then you had your conservative Republicans, and really the intellectual leader of that probably was your grandfather for 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think my grandfather was kind of at the tip of the spear in terms of the populist Republican
He was ahead of his time.
changeover. He was, and so was my mom, although she was part of that change, the sea change. I mean, if you look at Dent County, Danny Staples or Shannon County, Danny Staples is a great example. They were Blue Dog Democrats, and now all those people are MAGA.
Well, it's so funny. You think about your mom's career. Right now, Rusty Black is up for re-election. No one's going to run against Rusty. He's the Senate Appropriations Chairman. He could raise millions and millions and millions. Rusty Black not only raises money for his race, he raises money for 4 or 5 other people's races. Nobody would even seriously contemplate challenging Rusty Black, the chairman of the Appropriations Committee. Your mom took on the chairman of the Appropriations Committee, Michael Eibauer.
That's right.
Beat him. And beat the incumbent chair of Appropriations. Can you imagine how stoked the vice chair was? Thinking, I'm not going to get to be the chairman, and then all of a sudden, boop, falls right in your lap.
Yes, my mom is an amazing person. And
She'd fight a bear with a switch in the woods at night, your mom.
Yeah,
I tell you.
she would, and she instills a lot of fear. A lot of
Hell yeah, starting with me. Shit.
So, yeah, and Leibauer had been there for 18 years, you know. So, but that whole change, that sea change, was in the water, right? And that finally came to fruition in 2002, I believe, when the Senate actually
But I
flipped.
actually think a lot of that was you had to have the right people. Right, no matter who wins the Republican nomination,
certainly.
You could have literally anybody could file, and they're going to win that seat. Your race is in August. Like you'll spend all your money. And then let's be real. In November, you're going to be awfully hard to screw it up if you win the primary for anybody.
That is true.
Just the way it is, and in the inner city, right? If you're the Democrat, same situation. Yep. It's amazing. People, there is a tendency in this party now to think, oh well, we're the Republicans, we're going to win because that's what we do. But that's not always how it was.
No.
There was people that had to change. The candidates mattered. And I guess I'm sounding like the old guy here, and you can tell the gray's creeping up a little bit off my sideburns, but when your mom ran, it mattered. Not everybody could have beat Mike Leibauer. I would be willing to bet hardly anybody else could have. It mattered.
It
and I do think
mattered.
sometimes folks take it for granted here that anything we do, it doesn't have to add up, it doesn't have to matter. It doesn't, we're just going to win. Because I think they will win. But still, there's an element of that I don't think is good for the party.
I don't think it's good for the party. I don't think it's good for the people of the state. I mean, we need to be looking for solutions. And, when I talked to my mom about her time in the Senate, one of the things
she raised hell in the Senate. And
they were.
She wanted to.
She was always working across the aisle. I mean, the margins were a lot more narrow, and I think that is beneficial to creating good ideas that actually serve the people of the state across the state. When we get into our echo chambers, we have this confirmation bias. We just think that our ideas are the best, and we shut everything else out.
But that is a real issue. I think culturally for all of us right now is people aren't exposed to the differing points of view.
I absolutely think that's an issue.
I think that's a real problem for our culture.
I think that's a real problem for our country, for our state.
Yeah, it's not just a Missouri thing. I think it's a cultural thing.
Yeah, it absolutely is. That's one of the things that I pride myself on is being open-minded, listening to people, and I got that from my mom. That is why she won that race, is because she went out and listened to every single person that she possibly could.
How much overlap is her district to the one you're running in? I know it's Rolla, and I assume
Dent, Phelps, and Marys were the overlap. Pulaski, Laclede, and Wright County weren't in her district. Now, she did run statewide, so we've spent a lot of time in those counties. But hers went up north, right? So Osage, Gasconade, Callaway. That was
Herman?
Yeah, that was all part of that district. Yeah. I loved going to Herman.
Well, yeah.
I loved going to the wine festival there. You get in a barrel, you'd take your shoes off, you'd squish the wine.
Did you do it?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. In fact, when I was 10, I did it, and I took my shirt off, and then and I was 10, so I was cute. And then a older lady, a little more heavyset, did the same thing. It wasn't as popular as me as a 10-year-old, but it was quite an experience.
I mean, yeah, I remember the first time I ever saw my aunt and uncle said, "We'll take you to 3 Cardinal games if you'll go to 1 Rolling Stones concert with me." And I'm like, I don't want to do that, but I'll go to the 3 Cardinal games. So I thought I wouldn't have to go to the. No, I did. It was at Faroe Field. It was the first time I'd ever seen a woman just take her shirt off like that. I was like, those are pretty sweet. And the first time I smelled marijuana, which smelled awful, but I saw 2 women take their shirts. Like, this is all right. This Mick Jagger guy's got something going on here.
Coming of age story, certainly.
All right, so when you hit the trail, you got Lincoln Day Circuit coming up, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Gosh, you got, what, 7 counties? 8?
7.
7, yeah.
Yeah.
So you got one in all of them.
Yeah.
It feels like the race kind of boils down to you've got Mayhew, Hardwick, and Pulaski County. Pulaski County sometimes looks bigger than it is because you got a lot of folks at the Air Force or the military base that don't register to vote, and certainly don't normally vote in primaries. It's a very low. The county does not turn a lot of primary votes out. You got Hannah out of Wright County, which isn't a big county, but they all vote in the Republican primary.
That's the truth.
They're all. Wright County was Republican when other counties weren't.
Yep.
It is an old school Republican county. Back when you could, name 10, you named Wright County. It feels like a lot of this race, if you hold your turf on the eastern side of the district, you got to go get a share of Laclede County, and then you got to feel pretty good about it. Is that right?
Yeah, I think the battleground is Lebanon. Yeah. Absolutely. I feel very good about it. I mean, geographically, I have my advantages being from Phelps County and Rolla.
And they know about voting for poor candidates. I mean, they've had Jeff Knight for 7 years now. So, I mean, they're very accustomed with regretting their votes.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Dent County.
Also, Kelton, can you put the complaint banner back up?
Yes.
Jeff Knight, I assume, will text and complain.
And Dent's got a lot of Steelmans in it. All right, that's.
Yeah, Dent is the OG Steelman home. It's
it's
everybody associated with
Shannon.
Rolla because your dad and mom, but really, Norman Steelman was from Dent County, right?
Absolutely.
That was where he was.
He was born in Shannon County. He went to high school in Eminence, then went to the Navy.
I went to your grandmother's funeral, and it was in Salem.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah.
But people just like they associate the McKenna so much with Jeffco, right? But there was a couple. I think it was Bill's father, Ryan's grandfather, that was a member of the legislature from South City. But now we all associate him with Jeffco because him and his dad are just so widely associated with it. That and being bad at math and Sudafed purchases would be how you'd associate Jeffco. But again, you can send all your complaints, especially if you're from Jefferson County, to the number on the bottom of the screen. But no, people because your dad and mom, they associate everything with Rolla. But really, Dent County is the OG Steelman
absolutely.
home place. Yeah.
Yeah. Down by the river.
So
love that river. Current River. I get there as frequent as possible.
I put my inner tube. Man, I'm gonna tell you, Jake. See, Jake's from Independence. He's very highfalutin, up class. Yeah. There is
high society in Independence.
There is no sunburn in your life as bad as getting galded from an inner tube when you're floating the Current River. I would just get burnt. And then you'd think that sunburn was awful, but in reality, the galding under your arms is even worse. And you'd go to that river tickled, run in, jump in, float in your inner tube, and you'd come out of that thing and you'd feel good. And about the time you dried off a little bit, your skin started to tighten from the sunburn, and you'd be like, "What's wrong with my arms? Oh my God!" And you'd just be galded all the way down from sitting in that damn thing. But it was fun. I'd do it again this summer if I had the chance.
Well, yeah, there's no experience quite like that. Although I would recommend a canoe. You really feel like an Indian out there.
But we didn't grow up affluent. We had inner tubes, and it sucked. What would be fun is to do one down from Current River in Dent County, and just take the whole thing down to like Libelous Cabin there in Doniphan. That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be a blast.
Yeah.
That's my idea of fun.
What'd that take about? It would take 3 days, you think?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, if you're enjoying yourself and
I think it'd be like a Missouri Times corporate retreat.
Hey.
Kelton, are you in?
I'm in.
Well, Kelton's in. I'm in.
I think it'd take you about 3 days. It depends on how much beer you have.
But if Kelton fell in the river, the sheer density of all the hair on him, he might drown. We have to keep an eye on him.
I'm an excellent swimmer.
You just got to put those floaties on his arm. Yeah.
So when you're campaigning, last guy, I don't want to keep you. We've kept you longer than we asked for. Give me the message you're giving out to folks when you meet them.
Well, I think it's about families. It's about working families. You talk about growing the state. Let's grow the population through families that are here first, right? Make it affordable to actually raise a family of kids. My granddad had 9 brothers and sisters. I've got 4 kids. I think big families are the lifeblood of this state. And right now, you add on health care, you add on housing costs, you add on child care, you add on utilities, you add on groceries. It's tough to make ends meet out there, and that's what we need to be fighting for. That's what affects people day to day. I mean, of course, we can't have girls playing in boys' sports. Like, that's a settled matter from my perspective. We can't be,
I
people talking
believe
about
this state would be better if the and then you probably don't agree with this and couldn't even if you did, but in my opinion, the state Senate would function better with a more balanced partisan skew. I don't think it ever gets there. If you can't tell the difference between a boy and a girl, whether that's right or wrong, I have a lot of sympathy for people that are dealing with those issues. I luckily never had to in my family. I just think your regular person, look, let's be honest, ain't nobody in Phelps County really wanting to vote Democrat with any insiderable numbers. But you get to places that might. I think it's very hard for Democrats in Springfield and Lee Summit, where the 2 races are this year in the fall, to go and not be able to answer the question, how many genders are there? Whether that's right, wrong, and different. I know people feel passionate on both sides. In my gut, you're a swing voter. Forget the people that would be floating the current with us. They're not even. That's not even in their world of consideration.
Agreed.
But frankly, we've become kind of like African Americans in St. Louis. We don't matter politically. We're just going to vote Republican. They take us for granted. They don't care. But the people who are in the swing districts, the squeaky wheels, I think in Lee Summit and Springfield, there's a lot of folks that if you can't answer that question, they don't want to hear things they might agree with you on schools or transportation or health care because you can't answer that simple question. And the Republicans have done a masterful job of boxing Democrats in and making them answer that in a way that, forget our folks, even folks in the suburbs, just they can't get their mind around how you could not understand that.
I think that's absolutely correct. I mean, it is so foreign, I think, for when you look at the 16th district to have conversations about that's not what I'm talking about on the campaign trail because people care about their pocketbooks.
But I think people bring that up some. At a Republican event, I've heard people bring that up. Now, it's different because they, and maybe as time goes by, I think there is a possibility. Once you know someone, there's a time when I didn't know anybody that was gay. We went to college. I knew people that were gay, but they were not outwardly gay, and I didn't know. I just didn't assume that. I think you get to meet a trans person, all of a sudden your views change, but I'm not sure they're going to change on the sports part, ever.
Yeah, I don't think they change on the sports part, and if you're an adult and you want to live that lifestyle,
yeah.
The government shouldn't be in your hair.
The government should leave you alone. The answer to all the problems.
Exactly.
Leave people alone.
Leave them alone. Now, when it comes to kids,
yeah,
let kids be. We got to protect kids, and that's where that issue does come up, is in the protection of kids. And I mean, I think the Republican side has a monopoly on the truth here, and that's in terms of boys not playing in girls' sports. And to me, that's a settled matter. Like, that's done. We need to be talking about people's pocketbooks. We need to be talking about how people can afford to have families.
If you're Melanie Stinnett running in Springfield, I'd make sure it wasn't a settled matter. I'd make sure everybody's talking about that, right?
Well, I'm not Melanie Stinnett.
I'm just saying, if I'm her, I'm making Betsy Vogel tell me there's 15 genders every day.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. But you're not going to see daylight on the Republican primary side between the candidates on that.
When you get to the Senate, what do you want to do?
I want to make it affordable to have big families and work hard. That is what my parents, my grandparents, that's why my great-great-grandparents, that's what they fought for, is for freedom and for your ability to raise a family and have the promise of America, through hard work, right? If you go out and work, you should have security. That is the promise of America. And right now, it's tough to afford just everyday life.
You think one of the fixes we could do is the governor this in a state, the state called for some child care fixes. Do you think that could be one that the state could really try fixing to help families be able to afford taking their kids somewhere?
I think yes. We do have to figure out how to incentivize more competition and more entrepreneurship when it comes to childcare. I think there's going to be there's a challenge there, because when the government participates in childcare, you get things like you see at Minnesota, right? And there is such a deep distrust for the government creating these programs with no oversight, and then you add in the oversight and the cost expands. I think we should be not trying to spend money to solve the issue, but empowering people on the ground in the counties to solve the issue for themselves.
It's so many things. I do think, though, do you worry the state Senate's going to be a hard place to work on affordability? I mean, to me, that's a national problem. It's sometimes hard. We love Missouri. We focus on Missouri, but sometimes some of these problems are bigger than the state.
Well, okay, so we can talk about a couple of these issues, right? So data centers, for instance, right? I actually work in technology, and across the nation, I help companies implement systems.
The way
build
schools
databases.
can be self-sustaining, isn't it?
Well, they're a low impact taxpayer from my perspective. Now, you can't be giving them abatements. We need to try and collect as much property tax as we can.
But right now, this was something that's so interesting. Jake and I we emceed a forum in Montgomery City. And I happen to think your first year in the state Senate, there's going to be an education reform. Now, I think there's,
Pulling the map out.
I think there's a very good opportunity. And if folks like you aren't on the ball, this is the map of the Missouri election for governor. All these folks, there's us. Well, you're in the St. Louis team. Oh, shit. You got dog-eared in there. All the rest of us voted for Kehoe, right?
Yeah.
The Eagle voters, there's a very big chance that some folks are going to want to take money from all these Kehoe voters and give it to the Eagle voters. Is that something you can stomach?
No.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, ideology is great, but at some point, there's a tribal aspect of you're not screwing my people, right? And that is missing. The Republican caucus on the rural side has been notoriously weak. Essentially, they're just aldermen for the city of St. Louis most of the time over there. You think you're running for state senate, but really, you should be reading Board of Aldermen stuff, because that's your party is obsessed with St. Louis. I don't know that anybody in the Republican Party even knows there is a state outside 270. They are St. Louis, St. Louis, St. Louis all the time, every day. Go look at the bill calendar. St. Louis, St. Louis, St. Louis. Then maybe a little tiny something for rural Missouri that doesn't matter. St. Louis, St. Louis, St. Louis. We're too nice. So the suburban people have no problem. They cancel State of the State speech, say the judiciary speech. Do you worry we're too nice in rural Missouri, too accommodating the city people, and they take advantage of us and screw us over?
I want to say I worry about that.
I think it goes back to your grandfather fighting the Danforths.
Yeah, there is
We're
a
too
sentiment.
nice.
There's a sentiment out in the populace that, people in outstate Missouri, they're working hard, they're doing the right things, they're paying their taxes,
And getting screwed.
and they're getting screwed. Just going to St. Louis and getting flittered away.
I can't tell which Steelman is saying that, but it sounds like.
But that is a real sentiment. People on the campaign trail have told me that consistently.
It is the Steelman versus the Danforths. It's the Reagan versus the Fords. It's the Trump versus the Romneys. I mean, that's what it is. I mean,
I like that last one.
What I'm saying, you got the high and mighty St. Louis people that think you should be grateful for the crumbs they drop, and the last really good thing we have in state policy is education. I think you want to have a charter school, good for you, man. Whatever. I just don't know the Rolla Bulldogs should pay for it.
Well, I think, look, right now, I think open enrollment
Makes a lot of sense, don't it?
I don't think anyone's going to complain about
Let me
it in
ask you a
outstate
question.
Missouri.
I hear people telling me how it's going to kill these rural schools. In Butler County, they have the worst superintendent, which I hear he's about done. I'm hearing it's about time to harvest the corn, if you know what I mean. April elections. But anyhow, no one would take their kid from Neelyville. So you have Elsinore, Neelyville, Twin Rivers, and you have Puxico. No one's taking their kid to Poplar Bluff. It's too big to succeed. I think all the Danforth people, oh, you should consolidate your little rural schools, you peons. When their schools are the worst in the state. Rockwood is a disaster. Francis Howell, every social problem you have in schools comes out of Francis Howell. I think it's time to deconsolidate them big schools. And I bet you if you had Brad Pollitt's open enrollment bill, it would not be Poplar Bluff that gains people. It would probably loses people. It'll be Neelyville, Twin Rivers, Puxico, Elsinore that are saying we can only take so many. I promise you right now, if open enrollment passed, the line of Jefferson City parents trying to get their kids into Blair Oaks would wrap around the damn block, and I don't think there'd be one person who plays for Coach LePage trying to go to the city. I think open enrollment's a great thing, and I think it's a great thing for the rural schools.
I think it's a great thing. I think it'd be a great thing for Rolla. I think it'd be a great thing for St. James and Lebanon, and I don't think it hurts the smaller districts.
I think it helps them.
And look, I'm a football guy. Competition is what it is. It makes us all better. I mean, if you're competitive and you're competing for competencies and quality outcomes, that's good. And we want the kids to benefit. We can't be having kids graduate that can't read. And that's not happening in the 16th district. That is happening up in some of those schools that you mentioned earlier.
Exactly. I don't hear Rolla having the same problems Columbia does.
No, absolutely not.
I don't think St. James is struggling with the stuff Francis Howell is.
Nope.
And I don't know why we would then take money from St. James and toss it to Francis Howell.
That's not a good idea.
Not good economics. All right, tonight, 4:30, 6:30, Capitol Plaza.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Is it at the Capitol Plaza?
It is at the Capitol Plaza.
Corn Growers reception. I got my yellow tie on. Excited about the Corn Growers, great folks.
Jamie Berger's getting an award, I think.
And I hear Cameron is. I hope we didn't. We're supposed to say that.
I don't. That's what I saw on the flyer.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I think we can say it. It's on the flyer. It's a good call. Corn Grower reception tonight. Joe Steelman running for state senate in the 16th. Thank you so much for the time. Thank you for sharing a little bit about what's going on with your father. He is, if you're a Missourian, he is a Missouri legend, and I think the entire state's pulling for him. And he is in everybody's thoughts.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Scott.
We will see you Sunday on This Week in Missouri Politics from Truman State University. Kel, do we have the fight song yet?
I'm working on it.
We do have the McKenna complaint line, though, right?
Yes.
Can you put that up one more time just so we can, before we sign off, just to make sure everybody knows? If you have a complaint about the show or anything you've heard today, please text the number at the bottom of your screen. And you can say anything you want in those complaints. Be as mean and aggressive as you. I encourage you. Yeah. Don't hold back.
Get those emotions out.
Yeah, really dig in and fire off to the complaint line. I mean, that's what it's there for, right?
I heard it's even better when you direct them at McKenna himself. So if you have a circulation issue, just yell at McKenna.
That would also be wonderful.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you all so much for joining us. We will see you Sunday on This Week in Missouri Politics.